this, we gotta slide it over as such and lift. Enough leaves here to start a forest fire. This is disgusting. I gotta go through this whole car. These two are in the way. We're gonna have to lift these up just so we can tie strap that up there. And we gotta disconnect the positives. Let's go ahead and go to the trunk of the car and disconnect the battery for this vehicle. So it's usually a 10 millimeter. I guess we'll find out in just a second. Obviously this car's been leaking a lot of oil, because one thing it does not lack is oil. And usually it's a 10 millimeter. There it is. Unlock the battery. Yes, the battery on this vehicle is located in the rear. It is a 10 millimeter socket to disconnect the bracket. Let's go ahead and put this over here in the back seat. Alright, that's done, that's done. Now we need to disconnect this positive wire. This off. This is that sensor that goes up there. I need probably a 12 millimeter to remove that. We need a short 12, not a long 12. See if this is the correct size for this wire. Nope, it's probably a 14 then. Probably a 13, but 14. I guess we'll find out if it's a 13 or a 14. We'll put 13 in there, see what happens. Yeah, that's a 13. Reason you want to disconnect this is because you don't want to burn the computer on the car, you don't want to mess up the cables. There's a million things that can go wrong. Be careful you don't drop this nut. And obviously put this back so you don't lose it. Now we get to lift this up and out of the way. I'm gonna probably tie it up here with a tie strap, if I have one, which it doesn't look like I do. So, what do I tie with? Yep, I didn't bring any tie straps. Great. Alright. I definitely don't got no shoestring back here, so we'll improvise in a minute. But right now what we want to do is get this cover off. That's an Allen. I believe it's a 5mm, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. It's a 5mm. Okay, the one back here, obviously somebody's taking it apart because the one back here is missing. So that's another good reason. Another good reason to record this. So if you're missing anything and you get a complaint by the customer, you can point to the video and show them that it was definitely leaking. Now we're gonna disconnect this radiator hose. Be very careful when removing this hose. Drain that downward, and obviously we want to put this over here where it doesn't drip down. Alright, that's done. Now, obviously this has been leaking oil for a while, as you guys can see here. It's got a real bad leak. These clips that hold the hoses and stuff, they're all broken. I guess we're gonna start disconnecting. First, let me see if I get a hanger of some sort. GoPro, stop recording. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today we're working on a BMW 328 Xi 2008, and today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gasket and hopefully the flex disc on the dry shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This is the vehicle. I have not yet begun to take it apart. Everything's still in its original place, so we're going to go ahead and get that started. I believe these are 8mm bolts that hold this cabin filter housing in place. There's only 3 bolts holding this one, so this one's got missing bolts. I'm gonna have to let the owner know. And then it comes up just like that. We'll put this to the side. Then we got to take off these little compartments, these covers. Let me go get my transmission pick. I believe this has a couple 8mm bolts that hold it here and nothing back here, so we're gonna go ahead and take that apart. Let me get an extension on this. Alright, there's a sensor here. You just grab it, twist it, pull it off to the side like so. Same thing with this clip. Move it over here to the side of the vehicle. And then we see if there's any more bolts holding this in place. Doesn't look like it. Same thing with this side. We got another sensor switch. Put that over to the side. Alright, this is all loose. Alright, now we'll just disconnect this here. I believe this one goes here like this. That's one. That's two. Come on. That's three. Alright. Now this cover comes off. Obviously you're going to take the molding with it. Alright. Since we are working on the valve cover today, I got to take off this bracket. I don't remember what size is it, but I guess we're gonna find out. I need to get a flathead screwdriver and take this off. Alright. This might be no, this is definitely not a half. It might be a 7/16 or a 3/8. Yeah, 7/16 it is. And these like a special bit socket. I don't even know the name of them. Oh, this is not it. So I'm gonna try this one. Nope. Alright, so that means I gotta pull out my special socket set, the universal set that I have here. And that's probably either a 10 or a 12 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. You can check with this set here. Yep, that's an 11 millimeter. So we take this one loose. We take this one loose. And we take, that one's a little bit bigger. So that's probably a 12 millimeter or a 13 millimeter. I'm gonna try. Yeah, that's a 14. Alright, just for the safety of the vehicle, so there isn't any complaints by the owner or the customer, we're going to go ahead and cover up these fenders so this car doesn't get scratched in any way. And since we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, put it there, and now this is loose, this is loose. I know we also got to take apart this cover. Oh my goodness. Can't pull it out without taking off that bolt. Oh my goodness. Well, we can take off this one and this one, both of them will come off. Alright. And this is the A. Alright, let's see what size this is. Nope. Way smaller than that. Here it is. Yeah, these are loose. Somebody's definitely been in here. Two. Alright, now I gotta take off these, which I believe this one's. Yep, it's got a shorter extension. Nice one. Now I gotta find that damn clip, wherever the hell it went. We'll look for it later. These are grabbed on here like this. I've got to push this back, push this sideways like that. Takes care of that one. Okay, that one is done. Two. Alright. This is number 3. That's number 3. This is number 4. Last but not least, these two back here. We're gonna find out where you're at right now, buddy. There we go. 1. There it is, right there on top of the transmission. Alright, so we're gonna flip this over. Be very careful, put these clips back in so they don't get lost. Alright, then we're gonna get the magnet and grab the one that we can see. We've got one that went here on top of the transmission. Okay. Alright. That's there. This goes up and over. Over there. This goes here. This goes here. That goes there. Eh? That goes there like that. Now this is pretty much done. This is the O2 sensors. So this goes over here. This goes over here. Now, what we've got to do is that we got to pull up this valve cover. There's one. I got to take this off first. Alright, that's the Torx bit. There's one, two. How the hell? Okay, there's one there. Okay. Alright. Boy, it's hot as hell out here. Oh boy. Oh brother. How in the hell do I get that out of there? Let's see if it's an 8mm. If I can get that off with an 8mm. This is probably a 6 or 7. Alright, so that's loose. Alright, that's loose, but I gotta take it off. Okay. It's not this one either. So if it's not that one, it's gotta be this 5mm. No, not a 5. So if it's not the millimeter set, it's gotta be this set over here. Great. This is the 1/4 inch. Let's see if the 1/4 inch is it. Yep, that's it. Wow, what a mission to get to these bolts. Well, as you can see, the only thing I could find was a strap to pull those wires up and out of the way so they wouldn't interfere while I was working. Now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect all these coils. This one here is already cracked. The housing is cracked. And let me go ahead and... Where the hell's my pick at? You can tell this one's never been taken out. That joker's stuck in there. It's definitely leaking oil. Let me get me a rag. Clean this off. Goes over here. Alright, now those are leaking oil. Usually, you just get a little screwdriver like this. You put it here and you just pull up. There you go. That one's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one. 5. This one doesn't want to come up. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so only one was leaking oil in it. It was this one. Alright. I guess that's not too bad. Alright, now we gotta start disconnecting some of this stuff here. Be very careful with these little clips. Put that right there. So that's out. Now we've got to undo this. I figured that these clips are the ones that hold it in place. Yep. Is there any on this side? I guess not. Oh yeah. And this one. Then this one. Okay. What's going on here? We gotta disconnect this. This all comes up. Like that. Now I gotta take off those 8mm bolts. Put that down there. There. Ground cable's disconnected. Now I've got to disconnect this. This is all disconnected. Alright, this is all done. Now I got to disconnect this side. Alright. Take a look at it first. Even take a picture so you can remember what location the wires go in. Go ahead and take this out of the way just for memory, so we know how they go. We put them exactly how they were. Alright, what else? Alright, now we've got to take this apart. So this one. This one goes over here. Okay. That goes there. This comes out here like that. Okay. I guess this one comes out of here. Like that. There's that one. This one comes up and over like that. This one comes down. This one comes out. This one comes out. Now this one comes out of there. There we go. That goes out there like that. This goes over and out like that. Okay, now this. We gotta disconnect this one. Okay. This has to come up like that. Okay. This comes out. And this has to come up like that. Okay. 93 goes back over here. Alright. This one. Alright guys, I've already went ahead and took off the valve cover, but the only way you're gonna get this out, in my opinion, is by taking the wiper blades off and taking off this cover and the part that goes in the bottom. There's a 10mm bolt that holds that. You've got to come in through this angle to access it, through the top here to hold it with your fingers while you're spinning it on that particular bolt right there. And once you get that cover off, which is, or that piece off, which is this, right here. It's bolted on by that piece right there. There's a 10mm socket right there. You take that off, and then there's another 10mm bolt that goes right there. And when you take off the wiper blades and you remove that cover, you can access both of these bolts very easily. And you have to take this off in order to lift that valve cover straight up, so you have enough space to pull it, because there's no space. So you've got to remove all those plastics pretty much, or move them out of the way enough to where you can pull it straight up. I've got the valve cover right there. I'm about to take that apart and clean it and replace the gasket. Let me go ahead and shut this off for a second, and I'm gonna mount it on my brace there, and I'll come back on. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab this valve cover. Let me go get my gloves. I've been messing with this pretty much all morning. My battery died, so I had to charge it back up, and now I've got to pretty much remove the gasket from the valve cover, and I'm going to set that up right here. Well, 1, 2, gotta be careful you don't lose none of them bolts. This one goes here in the middle, and I don't even know what the hell that's for. That's probably part of that. Okay, the other two are over there, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over. I got 1, 2, 3. We got 3 bolts in the middle. As you can see right here, this is where they go. These are the garments. I don't know if you guys got the right angle. These are the garments that are in the car, and this is the valve cover gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Well, you can see this joker's definitely cooked on there. Okay, grab it. Put it up lightly like this. Put it to the side. That's trash. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this down the best we can. What we got. Since I'm also changing the spark plugs on this vehicle, after I set this valve cover up with the new valve cover gasket, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the spark plugs before I put this cover back on. Well, let me get a screwdriver, because these jokers are in there. There's 1, 2, 3. Some paper towels. And now that I've got this off, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze these and pull them out of there and put them in afterwards. Put them all in right there. That way they're not in the way when I'm putting this back where it belongs. All right, everything looks as clean as it's gonna get. All right, now let's get out the new one. Guys, I went ahead and I got a Felpro gasket kit. The part number for this one, it's VS
50859R. And the reason I went with Felpro is because I've had better experience with this brand than other brands as far as the seal is concerned. And you know, it works for me. It may not work for you, but it definitely works for me. So it's relatively easy to install. I mean, it's a gasket that pretty much you can feel it as you're pressing it. It grabs in there, and that's what you want. You want a gasket that's going to grab. And the reason you want it to grab is because you don't want this gasket coming off when you don't want this gasket coming off when you're trying to put this valve cover back on. And with other companies or other brands, I've had that experience where the gasket does come off, and you do your install, and next thing you know, you gotta remove everything because the gasket decided to come off on one corner. Just take your time. Actually, I'm not going to do this with gloves because the grease that I got on the gloves is actually dirtying the gasket. And yeah, although it is oil, but still I want to see what's going on here. And I want to make sure that this gasket goes where it's supposed to, that it doesn't leak. So if it works for you, use a Felpro when doing this. You know, it takes a little bit of time before you can actually get it to sit in its groove where it goes. And once you've done that and you've placed it where it belongs, you'll be in good shape. Some auto parts store will tell you that they don't carry Felpro, but Felpro does make a gasket for this car. You may not get it in other models of BMW, but for this model it does exist, and that's what I decided to go with, guys. Now somebody wants to call me while I'm in the middle of working on a car. It never fails. Let me see what's going on. It's probably the auto parts store telling me that they got this part. Oh, it's my mother. What I'm doing is that I'm making sure that this is sitting where it belongs, so I don't have to fight with it later. The seal is in. Obviously, this seal right here is no good, but I have to go to the dealer tomorrow to go get it because they don't sell this in the auto parts store. So I gotta go get that part, and I gotta get the football gasket that goes there. In the meantime, let me go ahead and wipe everything down over here so I got a good tight clean seal. If you notice, I'm not rubbing it inwards, I'm rubbing it outwards. So if there's any contamination, sand, dirt, you don't want that in your engine, just take your time and push it outwards. As you rub it, make it a point to switch paper towels constantly, so at least you're dealing with a new piece of cloth and it's not overwhelmed with sand and oil. Bit of a mission, but it all works out to the best at the end. Oh, that's another thing. I gotta advise my customer that I guess this is where the PCV valve hose goes or something, and this hose was already broken behind the vehicle. So I'm gonna have to let her know that she's gonna have to replace this hose. I know she's not gonna be too happy about that, but it is what it is. It was already broken. That's why this car's been acting funny, and check engine lights have been on. And it's little sensors like that. I would say the mileage of this vehicle, everything's brittle on it. There's no way to avoid stuff like that breaking because it is plastic. I mean, unfortunately, this is what BMW owners have to go through after their warranty is up. You know, a lot of the parts on here are plastic. They break. They're not serviceable. And now, as you guys can see right down in there, on this cylinder, I've got to pull all that oil out of that spark plug. The best way to do that is with a spray nozzle. Just get a clean spray nozzle hose and stick it in there. Then grab a rag over here and spray it. You'll see, I'm going to do the demonstration a little bit later. And now, we clean this bottom. I'm surprised that when I disconnected some of the connectors on this, they didn't break. But it has a tendency of breaking, especially this right here. I guess this is a camshaft sensor. That's what it looks like, but I could be wrong. It's on the camshaft, so I would assume that it is. All right, so everything here is clean. We're gonna go ahead and find me a spray nozzle. I'm probably gonna use this one, but I'm gonna have to go clean it out, make sure that it doesn't have any degreaser in it. I'll come back when I'm gonna do that. All right, I'm gonna do the demonstration of how to get the oil out of the spark plug canals, I guess was a good way to quarter it, or the spark plug housing. But we're gonna get down in there and we're gonna get all that out of there. And this is how you do it. You get yourself a rag. I had one here a minute. There it is. Get yourself a rag
I've already cleaned this nozzle out. You stick it down in there like that. Let me see if you guys got the right angle. Alright, that should be good right there. And all you do, you spray it up just like that. Until it all comes up. That's one side. So there's only these two. These are the only two that we're going to do it to. You see? Oil comes right up. It's just like if it was a regular spray. You won't get it all out, but you'll get most of it out. And that's it. The car's gonna smoke a little bit initially when you start it anyway, and obviously because of that oil, you're definitely going to have some smoke come out the tailpipe. This is ready, so let's go ahead and remove the spark plugs and find my extension and my ratchet. Let me get a set of gloves. My other gloves are all caked up, but I got some in the truck. Some other ones need to be washed, they're too oily. There should be a regular 5/8 socket for spark plugs. Yep, sure is. And we just loosen them and pull them out. These have a very long thread, and yeah, they were overdue. That's what happened when you choose your oil gets in there and everything's loose. Whoever previously worked on this vehicle left a lot of bolts loose. Look at that, spark plugs are completely loose on this car. So obviously it's gonna burn. Hopefully they're not stripped, and that's the reason why they're loose. But we're gonna find out in a minute. I think BMW is usually 18 foot-pounds of torque per spark plug. So we're gonna go ahead and get these out. There you can see the oil right there, and it was getting down in the plug. So this car was definitely burning a whole lot of oil. Hopefully will eliminate a lot of those problems with this service that we're doing to the vehicle right now. Yep, all the spark plugs are loose. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, all loose. It's like they were barely tightened on this car. Wow.
all the valve cover bolts to the rear of the car where the firewall were at, they were all loose, every single one of them. It's like whoever tightened them up didn't take the time to inspect those bolts to see, well, if those were torqued down properly. That goes to show they probably didn't follow the torquing sequence for this particular vehicle. And all the spark plugs are like extremely loose. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we've got new spark plugs for this vehicle. Now I just got to remember where they're at. Alright, these are the spark plugs that come with this vehicle. So I ordered the same exact ones that were on there. Same ones. And we're going to go ahead and take them out. These are already pre-gapped. You don't have to gap them. It's always a good idea to check them, see where they're at, because you never know what's going to happen from the factory. These are exactly 0.045. I've already went ahead and installed all the new spark plugs. I've put anti-seize on all the spark plug tips so they don't lock into place. And I'm probably about 2 minutes away from torquing it down. Obviously you want to put these in by hand, no power tools, so you do not strip the threaded area for the spark plug, because this head is made out of aluminum, and I just tighten it wrist tight, and I pretty much always use a torque wrench. I already checked in the book, and I've called 2 different places to verify to make sure my information is correct, and no more than 18 foot-pounds. And now I'm gonna go get my torque wrench, and we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna torque it down. That would be 15, 16, 17, 18. Right there. And we just need this extension. There's no particular order that we have to do these, because we're not torquing anything. We're just torquing the spark plug. That's it. That's 18 pounds, guys. It's not a lot of pressure. This is just so you don't strip the housing or the threaded portion of the spark plug. That's it. No tighter than that, gentlemen. Then you want to zero your torque wrench back out so it doesn't go bad, because they do tend to become uncalibrated when you leave them with tension. So that's done. Go ahead and leave that there, because we're going to have to do the valve cover, even though I think this is inch pounds. Alright, so everything here is pretty much done. Now it's just a matter of placing the valve cover in here, which is a mission, especially with all this stuff in the way. But we're gonna try to get it in there. I've got one bolt that goes in the center. I got 1, 2, the third one is over here somewhere. I just want to move this toolbox, I guess. I really need to pick up this mess I got on the back of this bed. Let's go ahead and do that now. As far as those spark plugs, they already come pre-gapped. You don't want to gap those, because that little they already come pre-gapped. You don't have to gap them, because if you do, you might damage them. Certain brands of spark plug do not require it because of the way that they're designed for you to gap them. So they come already pre-gapped from the factory. That's why they got that protective cardboard on the end. But for the most part, we're just cleaning up around here, so it's not such a mess. And I've already done that. This has to go here. This has to go out of the way. Let's go over here. I gotta clean this tube out. That I'm looking for is this one right here, but I can put it afterwards. I'm just going to put it there for right now. I mean, everything is pretty much set. It's not very pretty, but at least the valve cover gasket stays in place, and that's what I like about this particular brand. This is a bit of a mission, but nothing's in its path. We just got to take our time and work it in there, little by little. A few things that get in your way. You just got to take your time and hope and pray that you don't take this gasket out while you're doing the install. Let me inspect. Yeah, it's still there. Still in its place, which is good. Now we just gotta maneuver it downward. Should fall right into place. This is the tricky part right here. Oh my God. Alright. What a pain in the ass. Wow. That joker does not want to go in. And it's starting to come off in the rear, so I'm gonna have to pull this back out. Oh my God. Let me go ahead and put this down. I don't want this camera to get damaged. Let's go ahead and lift this back out. See? This gasket can't loose. Son of a bitch. I lost one of the cover bolts. Oh my God. This car's a fucking nightmare. Gotta kill this shit.